Imagine that a group of researchers working deep in the desert made a discovery that defies everything known about human history. What started as a routine excavation quickly turned into one of the most astonishing findings ever recorded. As shovels broke through the hardened earth, they uncovered the remains of a city, one that predates the oldest known civilizations. The walls, perfectly aligned and precisely cut, stood as a testament to something far beyond what was believed possible at the time of their construction. The stone, unlike anything found in the region, had been transported from a location hundreds of miles away, a feat that should have been impossible for ancient builders. In the center of the city ruins lay an object that has left experts in disbelief. A smooth metallic disc, embedded in the ground, glinted under the desert sun. It bore no resemblance to any known artifact, with engravings covering its surface, patterns so precise they appeared to be etched with technology far beyond what was thought to exist in the ancient world. When examined under high-powered microscopes, it revealed microstructures that resembled circuitry, leading some to speculate that the piece was not a decorative object, but something far more advanced. Among the ruins, deeper within the earth, was an even more shocking find, a skeletal remain unlike anything seen before. The bones were thicker, the skull larger, and the structure entirely unlike that of any known human species. DNA analysis revealed a sequence that did not match any known branch of the human evolutionary tree. It was not a mutation, nor an anomaly. It was something completely different, something that did not belong to any known timeline of human existence. Scientists were left without answers, faced with evidence of an unknown species that once walked the earth. Nearby, strange inscriptions covered the walls of an underground chamber. The symbols were unfamiliar, unlike any known written language. When compared to ancient scripts, they bore some resemblance to early Semitic languages, but contained patterns and structures that suggested a deeper, lost form of communication. When run through linguistic decryption software, the meaning of a small section became clear. The message was not one of history or record-keeping, it was a warning. It spoke of a time when the sky burned, when the earth trembled, and when something long forgotten would return. Archaeologists continued their excavation, uncovering artifacts that further deepened the mystery. Carvings of figures, not resembling humans, depicted beings with elongated skulls and intricate robes. Some of the artwork suggested an advanced understanding of the stars, mapping constellations that were not visible to the naked eye at the time. The level of knowledge embedded within these ruins was centuries ahead of what history had recorded. In the deepest part of the site, buried beneath layers of rock and debris, lay something truly disturbing. The chamber, sealed with massive stone slabs, had remained untouched for thousands of years. As the team carefully opened the entrance, stale air rushed out, carrying with it the scent of time itself. Inside, preserved beyond all explanation, was a figure unlike anything ever documented. Dressed in a fabric that never aged, she lay in a place made with precise details. It was as if time had never passed for whoever or whatever was there. Experts from around the world were called in to analyze the findings. Scientists, historians, and specialists in ancient languages worked tirelessly to piece together the significance of what had been unearthed. The implications stretched beyond archaeology, touching on the very fabric of what was believed to be true about humanity's past. The site was more than just an ancient ruin. The discovery was evidence of something far greater. Remember to join our community by subscribing to this channel. Despite the discovery's overwhelming importance, not everyone was eager to share the information. Officials imposed restrictions on the excavation site, preventing further exploration, according to reports. The artifacts, once freely examined, were now under lock and key, with only select individuals granted access. Carbon dating of organic materials found within the structure yielded a shocking result, approximately 12,800 years old. The result meant that this lost city was constructed at the end of the Pleistocene epoch, during a time when human beings were thought to be simple hunter-gatherers. This timeline predated the Sumerians, 3100 BCE, the Egyptian dynasties, 2700 BCE, and even Göbekli Tepe, 9600 BCE, the world's oldest known megalithic site. The archaeologists were in a state of shock. According to every historical record, no known civilization should have had the capability to build such an advanced structure during this period. The stone blocks, weighing several tons each, had been precisely cut and placed in a manner that suggested sophisticated engineering. Some of the walls had grooves and joints so tightly fitted that not even a human hair could pass between them, a technique not seen until much later in civilizations like the Inca and Egyptian empires. But the most disturbing part of the discovery lay beneath the foundations. As the team unearthed the lower chambers of the structure, they encountered a metallic object embedded in the stone itself. At first glance, it appeared to be nothing more than a simple relic, perhaps an ornament or a ceremonial piece. However, under close examination, it revealed properties that should not have existed in that era. To understand the magnitude of this discovery, one must consider what the world looked like 12,800 years ago. This interval was the time of the Younger Dryas event, a period of sudden climate change that brought the world back into an ice age. A comet impact, according to some researchers, caused massive wildfires, abrupt sea level rises, and the destruction of early human settlements. If a civilization had existed before this catastrophe, it could explain why so little evidence of their existence remained. The underground chambers contained inscriptions unlike any known language. When compared to ancient Mesopotamian scripts, they shared some similarities with early proto-writing systems, but had additional geometric sequences that did not align with any recorded form of communication. Linguists and cryptologists working on the case noted that certain symbols seemed to represent astronomical alignments, particularly those connected to star constellations visible thousands of years ago. This structure not only possessed advanced knowledge of architecture, but also had an understanding of celestial movements beyond what was previously believed possible for prehistoric civilizations. Further into the excavation, the team made another chilling discovery: a mass grave filled with skeletons that did not match any known human species. The bones were denser, the skulls larger, and the femurs longer than modern Homo sapiens. Initial DNA analysis showed no clear connection to any recorded branch of the human evolutionary tree. It was neither Neanderthal nor Denisovan, yet it shared some genetic markers with modern humans, suggesting the existence of a species that had lived and vanished without a trace. Some researchers suggested that these remains belonged to an unknown branch of human ancestry, one that had coexisted with early Homo sapiens but possessed knowledge and abilities beyond what history had documented. If that were true, it would force historians to completely rethink the origins of human civilization. The first anomaly appeared when researchers tested the composition of the surrounding soil. It should have been typical desert terrain, a mix of sand, rock, and mineral deposits that had settled over thousands of years. But instead they found traces of materials that do not occur naturally in the region. High levels of silica-based compounds, fused glass, and scorched bedrock suggested exposure to intense, sudden heat, far beyond what natural weathering could cause. The formation of fused glass is something that occurs under extreme conditions, such as volcanic eruptions or nuclear detonations, yet there were no historical records of such events in this area. When samples were taken for further analysis, they revealed something even more unsettling: the presence of radioactive isotopes, typically found in areas exposed to unnatural levels of radiation. Theories emerged, but none provided a comfortable explanation. The region had no history of asteroid impacts or tectonic activity severe enough to create such damage. The closest known event with similar environmental markers was the Tunguska explosion in 1908, which leveled 800 square miles of Siberian forest. However, that explosion was caused by an airburst from a meteor. There was no impact crater here, no signs of an extraterrestrial collision. Another distressing discovery followed. The site contained high concentrations of microplastics and synthetic materials embedded deep in sediment layers dated thousands of years before modern civilization. These materials were thought to be exclusive to the industrial age, yet they were found sealed within the ruins, suggesting either an impossible timeline or an external influence that modern science could not explain. The deeper the researchers went, the more disturbing the anomalies became. In an underground chamber, sealed away from sunlight for millennia, scientists uncovered biological remains that should not have survived. The chamber, lined with a strange carbon-rich coating, acted as a perfect preservation vault, shielding the organic material from decay. Inside, they found frozen plant life, animal bones, and even human remains, all exhibiting bizarre mutations that defied the laws of biology. Certain plant specimens contained genetic modifications that did not exist in the known evolutionary chain, as if they had been altered at a molecular level. Some of the animal bones showed signs of exposure to extreme radiation, similar to the aftermath of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The implications were unsettling. This was not just an archaeological site. It was evidence of an ancient environmental disaster, one that seemed to have erased an entire civilization overnight. As scientists continued their work, local wildlife in the region began displaying unusual behaviors. Birds that typically avoided human settlements started circling the dig site, their movements erratic. Small mammals native to the desert began migrating away from the area, a sign often associated with seismic disturbances or electromagnetic shifts. Further tests revealed abnormal energy readings emanating from deep beneath the ruins. A low-frequency electromagnetic field pulsed from the ground, disrupting communication equipment and causing sudden power failures in nearby research stations. Scientists attempted to trace the source but found no natural explanation for the signals. The frequencies did not match any geological activity, and yet they continued, as if something buried beneath the ruins was still active. A sudden rise in radiation levels, unexplained extinctions, and abrupt climate changes accompanied each event. The Younger Dryas event, the collapse of prehistoric megafauna, and even the disappearance of certain early human cultures. All of them coincided with these environmental disruptions. If history was repeating itself, then another event was due. What frightened researchers the most was the realization that this lost civilization might have known it was coming. The inscriptions found earlier had spoken of fire in the sky and the return of something long forgotten. If we connect the environmental anomalies to these past cycles, then the destruction of this city was not an isolated event. Are you enjoying the story? Support our channel by clicking the subscribe button. As the signal was analyzed further, researchers identified mathematical constants embedded within the waveform, including pi, and the golden ratio, phi. These numbers appear naturally in advanced mathematical equations and biological structures. Their presence within the electromagnetic pulse suggested that whoever or whatever designed this material had knowledge far beyond that of early human societies. Meanwhile, researchers discovered a sealed vault in a separate chamber of the ruins. A substance resembling glass shielded this chamber, yet it exhibited properties unlike anything in modern material science. The structure was impervious to conventional cutting tools, resisting all attempts to breach its surface. Inside this vault lay a preserved specimen, an organic entity unlike anything catalogued in human history. Unlike traditional mummified remains, this biological sample had not undergone decay. It was perfectly intact, with cellular structures that appeared completely resistant to time-related degradation. The implications were unfathomable. The results of DNA sequencing did not match any known human lineage. The genetic markers were only partially human, while the rest contained unknown sequences. Some strands bore similarities to deep-sea extremophiles, organisms that thrive under high pressure and radiation-heavy environments. Simultaneously, physicists examining the site noticed disruptions in time measurement instruments. Atomic clocks, known for their precision, began displaying fluctuations in recorded time. Readings taken at different locations within the ruins showed as if time itself was behaving inconsistently within the site. These distortions hinted at the presence of localized gravitational anomalies, something that should not occur naturally at such a small scale. Scientists ran experiments using laser interferometry, a technique used to measure minuscule shifts in space-time curvature. The results suggested subtle warping of space, a phenomenon associated with strong gravitational fields or unknown energy sources. The situation became even more perplexing when quantum physicists arrived on site. They detected high levels of low-frequency electromagnetic radiation, a type that is often associated with resonance effects observed in theoretical quantum mechanics. This raised another possibility. Was the site built on a location where natural energy fields interacted with physical matter in ways that remain unexplained by conventional science? Even more chilling was the discovery of geometric symbols carved into the walls, bearing an eerie resemblance to modern depictions of quantum waveforms and particle trajectories. These engravings contained accurate depictions of orbital patterns, suggesting that whoever built this place had knowledge of astrophysical laws that would not be formally discovered until the 20th century. A further anomaly arose when researchers examined the underground water sources near the site. The chemicals in these waters had some strange isotopes in them, and the way the molecules were arranged suggested that they had been exposed to an energy field that had not been seen before. This led some to believe that the entire site may have been designed to harness or manipulate energy in a way that modern science does not yet understand. Meanwhile, remote sensing scans of the region uncovered additional subsurface structures hidden beneath layers of rock and sand. These formations extended far beyond the initial excavation site, resembling a vast network of tunnels and chambers. Thermal imaging revealed fluctuating heat signatures, despite there being no known geothermal activity in the region. Archaeologists have already uncovered structures in Israel that predate the pyramids of Egypt, such as the mysterious ruins of Jericho, one of the oldest known cities on Earth. Satellite imaging and geological scans have suggested anomalies beneath the desert and even under the Mediterranean Sea, places where stone structures appear to exist, even though there are no records of them ever being built. Egypt's pyramids and temples have long fascinated the world, built with massive stone blocks aligned perfectly with the stars and containing hidden chambers that modern technology is only now beginning to explore. These structures suggest a knowledge far beyond what ancient people were believed to have had. Megalithic ruins in Israel, scattered throughout Israel, are ancient structures made of enormous stones, similar to those found in Egypt, yet their true origins remain unknown. Biblical references to lost knowledge. Some religious texts speak of a time when humans possessed great wisdom, only for it to be lost through war, disaster, or divine punishment. Researchers have discovered hidden tunnels and underground complexes beneath Israel, some of which lead to locations that remain unexplored. There are also linguistic connections between the Hebrew and Egyptian languages. Some scholars suggest that a shared cultural influence may have existed before the rise of Egypt's great dynasties, meaning that knowledge may have spread from Israel to Egypt, not the other way around. Throughout history, there have been stories of lost civilizations that mysteriously vanished. Some conspiracy theories suggest that certain groups, possibly secret societies or powerful organizations, have knowledge of these lost cities but have kept them hidden from the public. The Vatican and hidden artifacts. Some believe that ancient scrolls, maps, or even artifacts proving the existence of lost cities in Israel are kept in private collections or locked away in secret vaults. Some theories suggest that government suppression prevents the public release of some archaeological discoveries due to their potential to disrupt established historical narratives. Advanced lost knowledge. Some researchers claim that mathematical, scientific, and astronomical knowledge was once far more advanced than we assume, and that evidence of this has been suppressed or ignored. While mainstream archaeology does not officially support these ideas, there have been strange discoveries that don't fit the timeline of history. For instance, researchers have found ancient maps that accurately depict the Earth's continents before modern explorers charted them. History is a puzzle with missing pieces, a story that has been rewritten countless times. Every ancient ruin, every unearthed artifact, and every forgotten legend carries whispers of a past that is far more intricate than we have been led to believe. If a lost city lies hidden beneath the sands of Israel or submerged beneath the Mediterranean, it would not just be another archaeological find, it would be a discovery that forces us to question everything we think we know about the origins of civilization. People have taught us for centuries that human progress followed a slow, linear path. That knowledge and technology gradually advanced over time, from primitive hunter-gatherers to the sophisticated societies of Mesopotamia, Egypt, and beyond. The strange ruins scattered across Israel, the unexplained underground structures, the linguistic connections to Egypt, and the potential of a submerged metropolis all point to an unknown civilization that may have existed long before recorded history began. If the story is true, it raises unsettling questions. If you're enjoying this story, consider clicking Super Thanks. Your support allows us to uncover more hidden histories, explore ancient mysteries, and bring you deeper insights into the secrets of the past. Some believe that certain groups, governments, secret societies, or institutions may already know more than they admit. Theories suggest that vital historical evidence has been concealed to maintain the established narrative. Ancient texts describe powerful rulers and scholars who safeguarded lost knowledge, only for it to disappear without explanation. Discovering a lost city will redefine human civilization. It will bridge the gap between myth and reality, proving that our ancestors were far more advanced than we ever imagined. But with such a discovery comes responsibility, the responsibility to accept the truth, no matter how uncomfortable or paradigm-shifting it may be. Thanks for watching. Join our community by subscribing to this channel. Until the next video.